Hello, Pendle here from Sound Dust, and I'm here with the video where I try and convince you that Drift 004 is a thing you really need. And it kind of is. The whole point is it's a new low. It's a new low from Sound Dust. You've got 1,000,001 sample libraries and VST soft synths that make great bass sounds. But what we're doing here is making a sample library that's about bass texture, grist and filth and dirt and ooze and slime and throb. I could get on forever, I think. So what we've got here is a really idiosyncratic instrument that does things that probably nothing else does, and it does things that you didn't realise you needed doing in the first place. So you do need it. Technically you need it, and you'd be bad not to get it. There's lots of things that you've got already that you don't need. This you don't have, and you do need it because it's not like anything else. And you know, there's no point in Sound Dust making anything that exists already, so we don't. We make stuff that doesn't exist. I'll now do my best to show you what I mean, and maybe you'll believe. Here we are, good of you to join me. Now we've got 11 oscillators, we'll call them, which are all hybridized, bastardized sounds made from analogue, digital and acoustic sources, but ground together in a way that they really shouldn't be. As I keep saying, this is a new low, and it's about not copying anything. It's just providing a collection of just madness that you can then operate and manipulate and turn into the sounds that you want it to be. That's the whole point of this. So they're kind of inspirational oscillators of unknown, well, they're quite known origin. So we've got the basic drift interface, which you've seen before, and the whole point of it is that it's simple to use but does a lot. So you've got a few controls that do a lot of different things. That's the whole point. So in the center here we've got 4 big knobs to go with my bottom, and one of the amazing ones here is the ADSR, which, as you can see, it controls the whole of the ADSR. Next knob is an EQ, and you've got 100 presets, they're actual EQ presets. Then we've got the reverb stroke IR, which has different sections, and we can actually tune it with sub bass, which you will never hear on your mobile phone, but will cause the very foundations of your life to wobble. And then devices, and these all interact in different ways, which is what's great and interesting about the simplicity of the whole thing. So finally, we've got grist here as well, which is a tape distortion-y thing that does tapey distortion-y things in different ways, but all controlled from one knob, which is a great thing. So yeah, there you go. 4 basic knobs, 11 sounds, and then we're going to move over here to this new section. Now, what's new in 004 is the polyphonic and monophonic modes, and legato and an offset mode, which are just ways of single notes moving around, or many double notes moving around. For instance, the legato mode will stretch a sample across the keyboard to the next note for you, which can sound weird and strange and brilliant. Weird and strange and brilliant, obviously, is what we're always after. Portamento is the boinginess of it. Girth adds up to 8 detuned versions for real thick, fat greasiness. And we've also got these new duckers, which go positive and negative. And it's basically a square wave on the volume. And it's what part of the phase that it hits you. If you're going positive, hold on, let's actually do some of this. So that's starting off with a cut, and then going positive. If you're going this way, it's going the other way around. Speeds and pulse width is really interesting. So if you get 2 duckers going with slightly different speeds, different polarities, and play around with pulse width, and different amounts of depth. See, this is where it gets kind of interesting. And control click sets everything back to the default position. So I was going to start at this end and work my way along. Polyphonic, obviously, 2 notes. starting where I mean to go on with bad keyboards. If I push down, something weird happens. If I use the mod wheel, something happens. It's always going to be the case. So, portamento is the glide. Obviously, polyphonic confuses it. Monophonic. Yeah, so great for funny little leads. You know, here we go. I'm just going to start doing stuff. Adding a little bit of... See, this is already quite burbly. So Operator, for instance, is largely made from the vector wave by RYK Modular, which is an amazing FM modular thingamadoodle. And it's been crammed through the Chase Bliss generation loss, which I've been making quite a lot of use of recently. It's already got a fair bit of drift because it's been put through tape, and by tape I actually mean the Chase Bliss pedal. But we can also add our own drift over here. And this is deliberately unreliable tempo. At 100% it's going a long way. So even there already, hold a note somewhere in the middle of the keyboard, have a bit of burble. Let's actually put some spring on there to make it even more. So you can go 100% wet. Add in a bit of ducker. So even if you have the same tempo with a different shape, going positive and negative, do quite interesting things. Dry. EQ. Everything can be completely automated. You can pick your sound. Some of these are quite resonant, some aren't, but they're all everything's different. And that's the basic kind of sound. And also, every note, there's quite a lot of velocity layers with the intention of it being quite chaotic. The sounds you get are going to be, depending on how hard you hit, not always expected. That's the point. Girth. Gets to a point where it gets so fat. But that's great. Let's go back to polyphonic. So you get that that's me pushing, mod wheel. And you get this rich and hewn out of dust sound, which is lovely. And that's just the basic sound. But yes, then we can model it, we can do what we want to it. I'm just randomly doing stuff again. I'll add in a sub. Now, you might not hear this, but if you're on decent speakers, you've got that's just a tiny bit of that. If you go all the way, you've got a whole different ball game. And it depends how the notes, how the harmonics in the sound hit the tuned IR. It can do things that you don't necessarily expect just by the way the interactions interact. And we've got several sections here, as usual. Device is quite interesting. And they all add a space or even an EQ or a vibe that is really hard to find in any other way. So the ADSR presets. 12 o'clock gives you fast attack, long sustain. You go this way, you've got short stubby notes. Let's take these off again. I'm not sure short and stubby is a technical term, but good for arpeggios. And as you move this, The hard to see bar here is actually the attack curve. It's more obvious when we get round to the other end of the dial. So you can see what's happening as I go around. It's just a quick way of getting straight to where you want to go. It's a very radiophonic workshop without even meaning to be. In fact, it's a very radiophonic workshop, isn't it? As we go around here, it gets longer attack for, let's take off the ARP. And even longer. Let's put some of that in there. Also, you can adjust here as well. So you can still design your own sounds. Ooh. Got a long release going on there. Oh, there you go. Volumes are going to change, obviously, depending on EQ settings and what have you. Let's just go for crazy and beautiful. Not that crazy. A little bit crazy. And you can do nice things if you get the, there you go, the wobble's slightly out of whack. Let's try that with a bit of girth. Okay, let's put that back. And as we're going around the dial here, we then go into what I call kind of reverse tape things, which are nice with, and even nicer, the reverse IRs are quite intriguing. So, I mean, I'm deliberately doing more high stuff than low stuff so you can hear it on your tiny little phone speakers. And even that, got loads of possibilities. Let's go back to the normal thing. So all of the sounds have been deliberately made thinking about the bottom end, but they're also really useful in the higher reaches as well. I thought I might as well go for several octaves rather than just having a low octave at the bottom. So there's plenty of fun across the whole keyboard. A lot of the naming comes from a book I'm currently reading, which is massive, which is Jerusalem by Alan Moore, and it's bonkers and brilliant, but hard going. I mean, I say reading, I'm listening to it. It's about 65 hours, and I've got about 20 hours left, and it's just turned into James Joyce, Stream of Consciousness, which is quite hard going when you're cycling, which is how I listen generally. Right, synthy is your way of playing an actual EMS synthy, not just any one, but the one that belongs to Orbital. You may have noticed I keep scrounging their gear. And this has got lots of weird burble going on in various registers. But this is a bugger to sample. Excuse my French. Ghost seam. The ghost seam is a very important concept in the book. And that is made from basically various squares. That's like lowest note. Still got loads of, and if you hit it, some various velocity levels. And also, you know, go back to the that's me arpeggiating. microdose is an actual 303. By actual 303, I mean the very good Bay Area clone, which does the kind of devilfish mods as well. But this is a after touch mod wheel. So even with the mod wheel, you can do nice stuff. And if you girth that up just a little bit, and if you play chords, that's, if you then put it through some reverse, woofed. I just pulled a bit of a kind of bass face. Knock is deliberately, well, knocky, I suppose. It's got 808 kick drum, kind of hidden in the start, and then other varieties of things. Cloud is made in the same way that cloud bass is made. So that's actually a double bass. Fatten that up. Oh, unfat. High up. Goes into mad grist, bottom. So that's why you've got this, all the interesting possible bass textures. You go very slow there as well. So, you know, you can use that just rumbling away underneath something. Let's add in some sub. You probably can't hear that anymore. I can on headphones. And even just automating. After touch. Mod wheel. Give some girth. There you go. There's your film score. No one needs notes. Do that. You can see how the pulse width makes quite a lot of difference. There you go. There you go. Instant film score. Or instant cool chordy thing. Cloud, melted plastic. I wanted to make a sound that was like melted plastic. That's the low. Lots of different layers. Oh, mod wheel's halfway up. There you go. Mod wheel. Yeah, lots of layers. Fat version. Fat boingy version. Bit Daft Punky. Growl is a kind of low and filthy Hammond organ-y. Well, it's a Hammond organ. So you've still got a sense of the Hammond in there. These are, on the whole, mono, because it is intended to be bass, but then you can widen it here, obviously. Add in that stuff. Make it into a strange time signature. There you go. This is the film about the killer bees. Let's slow and deadly. Or maybe mosquitoes. That's aftertouch. Mod wheel. Hippo, continuing the low and dirty theme. This has got a lot of mad, that kind of stuff going on. That's just coming from the sample itself. And it doesn't always land where you'd expect it to. That's the intention. Or we're monophonic. You know, the intention being you might have to adapt and you might find something you weren't expecting. I mean, like I say, there's lots of real things. There's lots of accurate things. What we need is inaccurate even. And we need kind of idiosyncratic. And we need fucked. Thank you. And gobshite is a load of really angry Moog Voyager. Similarly, lots of levels. Most of them angry. And it's another case of you can sculpt it. I've tried to add in the basic samples as kind of as harmonically rich as possible, and then you can sculpt, find, or even add more, or even. So then, you know, you can make it stupidly thin. This is for the film about diarrhea. Oopsie. You know, you might not have realised you needed that sound. You may never find it again. And it's just literally just changing one preset will give you, or one of these will give you a different sound. There you go. Ooh. Let's give it a bit of portamento. Mod wheel. Aftertouch. That's the point. We're not after just, you know, if you want to play a disco bass line, this probably isn't what you want, although we probably could do that. But that's quite good though, isn't it? Happy Accidents is the name of the game. And to add to that, the chaos section also adds in Happy Accident. We already had a bit of tune and velocity set. But if we take those all down, it'll play the same thing every time that you're hitting the note for. If we go up here, we've got really unhappy accidents. Still adds to the fun. Same here. Let's just whack everything up and you'll see what I mean. It could be interesting. This is the film about killer frogs. Those little tiny ones that have horribly poisonous skin. Anyway. And then here's just a quick explanation in case you weren't listening to me for the last 20 minutes. And that, my friends, is it. So this is, oh, no, it's not it. There's also the stacking section. So we've got 100 and something presets. And what I've done, I was trying to work out the best way of combining them to show you them. I've done it by sound, and there's a kind of variation, there's simple variations in each one of the same thing. They're all different. But they're kind of, I mean, the whole point of this is they're all starting points. And essentially, you can then swap the sound here, and you'll have the same starting point with a different sound. And that is the intention. So these are all just starting points, and you've got the completely start points here as well. Oh, and you can't see it, but there's also, oh, hold on. This is annoying. If I do that and then do that again, there's also utility throbbing. We all need a bit of that. And these are deliberate preset throbbers. Let's put that Sorry, I'm messing about with that. And we can go through those and you'll get different rhythmic-y things, which are starting points. Some fast, we're in the fast sections. Some slower. Let's go slow one. And the same thing, you can swap the sound. And this will always sync with your DAW. See more radiophonic workshoppiness. God, I'm loving this thing even more. Fun. We've also got the stacks. Now these are, and I needed to explain this at the beginning and I didn't because I'm a terrible person, Muriel. You've got, this is the standard instrument. The stack instruments are exactly the same, but they have the automation on different channels so that you can combine them and automate them separately. If I click here and look at the automation, we'll see that, Docker 1 is on channel 22. If I go back and then load stack 1 underneath, what you should see is that the automation is down here. So that you can automate one separately to the other one. Let's just take that out. But that's so you can build your own stacks. But I've also built a load of stacks here for you as well, which are also named after things from the amazing book I'm reading. Picking one at random. Yes. There you go. Utility pulse. So you can have so you can then change pan and tuning of the separate instruments and create your whole soundtrack that way. Let's try another random one. But I'm quite into the utility throbbing, as you can see. And of course, just change the sounds. And you've then got new variations. There you go. Let's put that one up an octave. We've got volume here so you can mix them. And don't forget, you can add different drift instruments together in a stack to make absolutely amazing super stacks. Cough drop, very relevant. So it may be a low-end machine, but you can also do big mad pads. Cough drop is relevant because the main character in the book chokes to death on a cough drop when he's about 3 years old. And then there's a whole 20-hour section with him as a dead 3-year-old. It's great. So that'll do. Sound Dust Drift 004 is good for bottom end, good for other ends as well. And as I like to say, it's a new low. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me or leave a question below. I will see you again soon for more of this same kind of shenanigans. I hope you're all well. Take care. Thank you. Bye.